Hey guys, welcome back to the channel where I was thinking we are 6 months through 2025 and that's probably an opportune time to do a 2025 Airsoft collection video. So to kick things off, we'll start with the big boy rifles. I don't have a lot of them, but most of them are mounted to the wall, so we'll go and take a look at the snipers. So kicking things off is the Tokyo Marui PSG-1. This is a original PSG-1. I do have the box for it. It's a bit of a collector's piece for me. Never been skirmished, just sort of plinked around and played with. Treated very, very cautiously. Obviously parts are nigh on impossible, and if it did go wrong, you're probably ripping out the original innards, either HPAing it or, I don't know, maybe something creative at a later date. But for the minute, she's all working, she's completely original, and on the wall is where she's going to stay. Next up, we have the Silverback SRS HTI, complete with the big boy can on the front. That in itself is a weighty item. It's full metal, certainly adds to the overall weight of the rifle. This is running pretty much maximum output it can legally here in the UK, uprated spring and what have you. Massive mags on these things, which go to waste because they're only small capacity mags, obviously, but vortex optics on the top, bipod, really nice setup, just far too heavy to run every day as an everyday rifle, but certainly great for those special occasions. The final sniper in my collection is the Tokyo Marui L96. This one, as you can see, has been adorned with the Novrich based camo skin. This is obviously from CSGO and is the Asimov skin. I quite like it as a sort of gaming thing. It obviously makes the rifle a bit silly to skirmish. It stands out like a sore thumb, certainly in woodland areas, but a lot of fun. This one's completely bog standard internally, so it's a sub one dual gun really, but still throws a 2.5 as far as anything you'd like. Moving into the world of DMRs, we'll kick things off with the Vorsk VMP2 MD version, this one. As you can see, she's been tricked out with the Vorsk VMP1's can. We're also utilising the larger mags from the original VMP1 to get maximum firepower. Power output, she is true to her name, a DMR. That's not the case with some of my rifles, well, that one mainly. But yeah, we've all been there. We've all seen the Vorsk. It's a Marmite gun at the minute. I'd like to get my hands on some upgrades and really see how far we could push this platform and what we could do with it in the future. But for now, she is boggo standard internally, and mine runs absolutely fine, but I know the community isn't as impressed with them as I am. So, not strictly a DMR in its current format. I'm going to peg this one in with the DMR platforms because of its potential. Not for where it is right now, but for what it will soon become, with a couple of little choice upgrades that are available to me through Beretta Outlaw Airsoft. My plan is to turn this into a full-fledged DMR rifle, and obviously this is the G&G Levar 15, as you'd expect, a lever action. Mine does have one upgrade on it currently, which is the shorter throw for charging. Certainly makes rapid fire a little bit more possible, although perhaps not quite as satisfactory as the sort of full-on throw. But yeah, a lot more practical, a lot more usable. I really like this gun. I struggle to see why it hasn't quite caught on in the community as much as we initially thought it was going to. But I think with a little tarting up, a really nice set of optics on it or something like that, and this will be a really, really nice DMR platform. As you can see, I am running the dummy rounds. A little bit contentious because they do look ever so plasticky. But I think, like I say, once I've got my final vision in place, I think this is going to look the bee's knees. Now, this one again is, I'm putting it in the DMR platforms based purely upon its performance and abilities, not necessarily what the original rifle was, because as I'm sure a lot of you know, the Sig 550 is actually a battle rifle, not to all intents and purposes a designated marksman rifle, although we do have bipods and stuff like that and super long barrels. It's one of those rifles, I think, in terms of real steel, that could be either or, because you know, you get something like a battle rifle with a really long barrel, you know, you think of you know, a Mark 17 SCAR, that kind of thing. Quite often they can be used as DMRs, and certainly if you take the Mark 17 and turn it into a Mark 20, you get a sniper rifle. So horses for courses. I'm detracting from the obvious, which is the beauty of the Sig 550 from G&G. Now obviously this is an AEG, not super common in my collection anymore, really. I mean, I am transitioning over from a lot of AEGs to gas blowbacks and stuff, but this was just, it's too pretty not to have in the collection, really. And certainly with the sort of slightly off norm optics and that kind of thing, I think she has this kind of weird battle worn appeal to her. The slightly two-tone nature of things and everything else, it's just really, really pretty. And yeah, usually can be found in pride of place in the back of a lot of my videos. Sticking with battle rifles that have been converted to DMR for my personal use, here we have the G&G M14 EBR in this version's rather fetching shade of bronze with black accents. Now this is a particularly rare rifle in my collection. G&G's AEG platform, we have ETUs and all that sort of stuff. She's a really, really nice rifle, been cooked up to DMR performance levels, tighter barrel, that kind of thing as well, and she is an absolute monster. But let's face it, there's one thing that every M14 needs, and that is a good sounding rack. And this particular one does not disappoint, which is why I do particularly love my M14. Next up in the DMR category is one of my all-time favorites of my collection, which of course is my Tokyo Marui 417. This is an absolute monster. Originally hailing from Dave's Custom Airsoft, this thing has been upgraded to the absolute hilt. It then suffered at the hands of a rainy day, unfortunately, which completely fried the MOSFET and subsequently some of the other electronics. Thankfully, Brett at Outlaw Airsoft was able to strip it down and breathe new life into it. So once again, we have this fully upgraded absolute monster. The recoil on this thing, I know it's simulated, it's not gas blowback. This is AEG after all, but the heavier system we've put in play here just, it's shoulder shuddering and is an absolute delight. And look, this thing, as in true Tokyo Marui fashion, is capable of absolutely sending BBs downrange. I've not had as much fun as when I've used this rifle in the past. It's an absolute monster. It looks phenomenal, all kitted out. Once you stick some big optics on it and a rangefinder and, you know, that kind of thing, it is, yeah, it's just an absolute beast. And it looks the part with the dummy mags and all the rest of it as well. I can't say enough good things about the Tokyo Marui 417. I think it's just phenomenal, and from the moment I bought it to this very day, it holds a special place in my collection. So moving into the world of assault rifles or battle rifles, it's all kind of the same thing in airsoft because we all shoot 6mm BBs. But you get my point. We are now into the sort of everyday rifle, full auto kind of things. This is, well, hopefully by now you should know what this is. This is the SAR15 kit from SRU Precision. This is what we've been building on the Airsoft and Chill podcast. This is utilizing the Noveske N4 as the sort of base gun, base platform. Hits really hard. I mean, it's all subjective because it hits like a standard or a slightly heavier. SRU have provided a bigger bolt, so a slightly heavier N4. But because everything's right in your shoulder, right at the back, the noise and the kick just feels so much more visceral. My one's now been kitted out with an L-can, which helps to sort of intensify the chunkiness of this particular platform. It is lovely to shoot, performs really, really nicely, and looks super futuristic, I think. And now we come to a weapon I lovingly refer to as the scalpel. This is my custom Wolverine MTW made by Airsmiths right here in Cornwall. This is actually 001 of their signature series, a series that has now become quite infamous in the MTW world. Josh down at Airsmiths does some really, really nice builds, and I'm proud to say this was the very first one. I was his very first customer. This is finished in a tornado grey, and that's to match the Daniel Defense accessories we have at the back here. It's a scalpel. There's no other word for it. This thing fires absolute laser beams. It's the go-to platform if you just want to have one of those game days where you just don't worry about your weapon. You put the mag in, you put a fresh battery in, it fires every time, and it fires like a laser beam. There's never any sort of issues with this thing, and its range is absolutely phenomenal, as you would expect from HPA. And it's just super reliable, and probably, as much as I hate to admit it, because HPA is kind of, for me, a little bit soulless. There's no recoil with this thing. It feels like you're firing a gun on Call of Duty with a simple mouse click. The trigger's so refined. It's just it's a little bit soulless, but undeniably this is probably the best performing rifle in my collection. Next up is the Tokyo Marui NGRS Mark 17 or SCAR Heavy. As you can see, mine's equipped with the 40mm grenade launcher on the bottom, which is custom to these particular SCARs. It's NGRS, so there is some simulated recoil, although on these SCARs it's not the heaviest at all. It does give a nice sort of clack with the reciprocation of the charging handle, but the audible factor is probably better than the actual recoil itself. Being Tokyo Marui, she shoots straight as a die, performs well every time you take her out, and just looks the part, I think. Whether you're a lover of the UGG boot or not, SCARs are always cool in my opinion. Next up is the KWA Lithco Arms F90 GBBR. Based upon the Steyr AUG, this is a hell of a platform. I absolutely love this thing from top to bottom. As I've talked about before in the review video, it's kind of one of those things that if you love the AUG and you love ball pops, then you're absolutely going to adore this rifle. If you're not sold on that sort of thing, then it's one of those guns to probably give a miss, because there's so many proprietary parts. The mags are proprietary. You're not going to get any other usability out of it other than for what it is. It's, you know, there's no vast amount of upgrade parts for it. But that being said, it's a lovely rifle to shoot. It just feels phenomenal. It has a massive amount of kick to it. And yeah, I absolutely adore it. And at the minute, I'd say it's probably my go-to rifle, just because it puts such a smile on my face every time I use it. Now we get to my Cybergun FAMAS. This is, of course, AEG. They don't produce any other kind of FAMAS at the minute, which is really disappointing to me, despite Cybergun consistently promising there's going to be a gas blowback on the market at some point. This one is something I customized myself. I actually bought it as a two-tone rifle. It was a rather fetching shade of blue. This is now OD green and flat black, complete with some scrim netting for camo nature. Set up a bit as a scout rifle, really. I do enjoy using it. It's still a nice gun to shoot, even though there's no simulated recoil, there's no kick to it. Unfortunately, it's not as insanely accurate as you might like it to be, but I think one day, money allowing and time, I really would love to go to town and get this thing upgraded a little bit, and improve that sort of performance. But in terms of looks, it's one of my favorites, certainly because I've sort of customized it myself and done my own bits and pieces to it. It's actually utilizing an Ace Tech tracer under there, which conforms with that sort of control unit that Ace Tech makes, so that I can round count, which is hugely important on these FAMASs, because this is the version that stops firing after 31 shots. It's like a training weapon thing. So you need to know how many rounds are in there, even though it's a high capacity mag and can hold many, many, many BBs. It will force you to take the mag out and put it back in again after 31 shots have been fired. I understand you can get around that. You can take the little micro switch out and it never knows the difference and all the rest of it. There are ways and means around it, but I thought it was slightly cooler just to have a round counter on it and make it a bit futuristic as well. I remember when I set this thing up, I was very into Destiny 2, and there was a scout rifle called the Mida multi-tool, and that had a round counter on it and stuff like that and everything. So that's kind of the inspiration for this thing. But yeah, please, Cybergun or someone or anyone, make a gas blowback FAMAS. That's what I need in my life. Now we come to one of the more neglected parts of my collection, sadly, of recent. This thing's gone into storage, and as you can see, unfortunately not a completely moisture free storage by the looks of it, as we have some patina forming on the receiver there, the upper. Nothing a bit of paint can't fix. Certainly I fired it up, the gun's still completely functional, and I'm sure with a good service she would be a fine instrument again. But this is the KWA TAC 45 or TK 45. This is their version 3, I believe they refer to it, which has the simulated recoil. It's a lovely gun. It was one of my first in the collection, to be honest, my first big money purchase back in the day. And it does put a smile on your face. That recoil is really, really good. It's decidedly AEG, a bit of a noisy gearbox, like I say, but it's fun. It is a lot of fun. It's a shame I've sort of neglected it. Having got it out for the sake of this video and realised how poorly it's sort of done, I fired it up. It's still in good working order. Makes me want to give it a lick of paint, maybe something custom. If you've got any suggestions, then by all means shout out in the comment section below. I think it deserves it. I think it's got a space age feel to it, and I think certainly doing a bit of a sci-fi build with it might be something worthwhile in the future. Another Tokyo Marui now, and my 416 NGRS. Again, simulated recoil as you would expect from the NGRS range. Heavier than the SCAR, not quite as heavy as its big brother, the 417, although that has been heftily upgraded, so it's hard to say what that would have felt like in its original form. This is a lovely gun. I got this purely because of my love of SEAL Team on the telly, and it's been an absolutely solid performer. I think it has that sort of standard 416 NGRS-esque problem where occasionally the gearbox will get stuck and you have to give it a quick burst in full auto to unlock it. But other than that, and that's a rare occurrence, other than that, she's been an absolute gem. And still forms a lovely piece in my collection. I think she actually needs to get up on the wall at some point because she's so good looking with the rest of them, and go on display for a little while, I think. Now we come to the only LMG in my collection, which is the M249, obviously with the skeletonized stock. This is, as you can see by the little signature line down at the bottom, this has been converted to HPA, which now means it actually runs better on M4 style mags than it does the box mag, because it just can't keep up with the HPA engine. It's got a Wolverine engine internally. This was all custom done by Airsmiths here in Cornwall. As you can see, we've got some custom stippling to the pistol grip as well, and that kind of thing. Really nice gun to shoot. It shoots in so fast. But like I say, one downside is that when you've got it cranked up to the max, the box mag can't keep up with it. So you end up better off using the M4 style mags, which isn't bad because, let's face it, that is super cool, especially after you've watched The Winter Soldier or someone like that using it on the televisual box. Moving on to little SMGs, and we have my Tokyo Marui NGRS MP5. Being NGRS, it does have simulated recoil. It's actually, I would say, of the NGRS range, now take my 417 out of the equation, which has been heavily upgraded, and I would say this is the most satisfying simulated recoil in the Tokyo Marui range. I don't know what causes it to feel better than every other one. Is it heavier? Possibly. But it could just be the more compact nature of the rifle and the fact that I've got the recoil going through the retractable stock, obviously just a little bit more shoulder bound. Whatever the cause of it is, it's a really satisfying thing to shoot. It's still not GBBR by any stretch of the imagination, but I think, close your eyes, you might be hard pressed to tell the difference. I don't know. I need to get my hands on like an Apache before I make that wild claim. But yeah, it's a really satisfying gun to shoot. Really lovely. As you would expect from Tokyo Marui, performs really well out of the box. And yeah, I do not regret this at all. I think it's a lovely little MP5. Another pseudo collection piece in my assortment is the KWA Chris Vector. This is the gas blowback variant, obviously. Not the only gas blowback variant you can now get of the Chris Vector, but still arguably the best. It's obviously a lot harder to come across. Parts are an impossibility. Mags, not so much. You can still find mags in and around places, but if it ever goes wrong, I don't know if I'll ever be able to get it fixed. Hence why this has...
It's been skirmished once or twice, but it now has become a bit of a wall hanger. It's certainly going to find its way in the studio here at some point. But yeah, it's a lovely gun to shoot. It's such a shame that I just know the day it breaks is the day I'm never going to shoot it again in all entirety, unless I can find a custom fabricator to make custom bits. But it's yeah, it's absolutely phenomenal as a collector's piece. I absolutely adore it. It's a lot of fun, and yeah, it's going to take pride of place on the wall one day. You will see it in the background of a lot of future videos, I'm sure. Something I would still firmly place as one of the best looking and best performing SMGs on the market today is the Tokyo Marui MP7 GBBR. They do an AEG version as well, but I think anyone who wants an MP7 is going for a gas blowback anyway. Yeah, this one has been a long staple of my collection and just performs flawlessly every time it's used by either me or my kids. It's an absolute diamond. I love the MP7. I understand these days why it's becoming a little less of a go-to platform for some people, with the sort of onslaught of alternative options that are out there. But it's one of those things. I think you need to own an MP7 at some point in your collection and in your airsofting life, if you like. And for me, the Tokyo Marui variant is still the best one you can go to. Another little SMG of my collection is the Vorsk VMP1, the little SMG that could and maybe should. I don't know. I don't quite understand why the Vorsk VMP1 hasn't taken the community in the way that I kind of envisaged it would originally. It's essentially an MP9, so has inherently most of the problems the MP9 has anyway. Certainly the KWA MP9 was plagued with sort of issues of shaking itself to pieces. The Vorsk VMP1, not so much, but I mean, it had its own issues, certainly surrounding the stock and the failure of the mounting point of the stock and this kind of thing. And it utilized the original KWA hop unit, which wasn't the best, but I mean, it did all right as an SMG. Being able to sling 2.5s, it wasn't bad, but anything heavier, you weren't going to get much out of it. But suffice to say, I still enjoy using mine from time to time. It's certainly not anything I've used frequently these days since its sort of testing phase, but it's a nice gun to shoot. Certainly the fact that its mags are now and its suppressor is now compatible with its big brother's VMP2 is nice. You could, in theory, run the VMP1 as a sidearm to the VMP2, although saying that, the VMP2 almost has its own sidearm these days in the VMP2C, the super compact version, if you like. So, I don't know, Vorsk have kind of shot themselves in the foot a little bit as far as the VMP1 is concerned, unfortunately, but I don't mind it as a platform. Mine's been inherently reliable, but that's probably through lack of use as much as anything else since it's been tested. They're an enjoyable gun, don't get me wrong. I expected more from them and more from the community at large in sort of the adoption of them that just never kind of happened, unfortunately. Looking now at shotguns, we have my beloved Tokyo Marui SPAS 12, complete with non-official folding stock that was actually purchased separately to the SPAS itself, although is really nice, really nicely manufactured. If you look back through my videos, I did have links to where you could purchase it. I don't know if it's still available anymore. That's something you might have to check out, but As spring shotguns go, this Spaz is absolutely phenomenal, and rightly so. It's made its way as a wall hanger on my wall, although it does get a fair amount of use, to be fair. I've used it in juggernaut rolls and stuff like that. Things where you want that sort of presence on the field, if you like. Yeah, just a lovely piece and a lovely collector's piece to have. Number 2 of 2 in my shotgun collection is the Tokyo Marui Breacher. Obviously gas powered. This one's actually been converted to use a HPA line, which is hooped up underneath there. This is actually the partner gun, if you like, or 002 of the Airsoft Signature series. This was made in conjunction with my Wolverine MTW. As you can see, the receiver has been cerakoted in the same tornado grey, and we have an M4 mag adapter in it so that we can utilize the same magazines as the MTW and just get away with using this as the sort of sidearm, if you like, to the MTW. Switch over the lines, switch over the mags, and off you go for a bit more CQB style action. Being Tokyo Marui, you know, pump lock can be an issue, I suppose, but this one has a custom stippling on the pump, courtesy of being part of the Airsoft Signature series. And yeah, another really lovely gun. Josh has done a really nice job on this, and it's worked flawlessly and is a lovely partner weapon to the MTW. Certainly looks good strapped to the back of your rig when you use it on game days. We'll kick things off in the pistol section with something that is technically a pistol. You can see the AAP01 inside. Albeit in the SRU PDWK kit for it. This is obviously all 3D printed, representing one of the first era of SRU's kits. Really, really nice. It actually performs very, very well. As much as I hate to say it, because I'm not a big fan of the AAP, but as a little SMG, it's quite a lot of fun to use, actually. It does take a little bit of getting used to because we do have quite a high sight over bore in this thing. So it can be a little bit difficult to get used to fire accurately. But once you've dialed it in and dialed yourself in, it's not actually that bad. And I think with a lick of paint one day when I get around to customizing it all up, I think it will look pretty snazzy. Firmly in on the pistols, we're actually going to go to a revolver first, and this is the Elite Force Hater. This is actually the second iteration with the little hole for adjusting the hop in it. Yeah, really nice gun, performed really well. Cheap as chips, beautifully balanced. You can sort of do some real tricks and flips with this thing. And there's nothing quite like the aura farming of taking someone out with a cheap little revolver like this with no moving parts on it. Well, no real moving parts, obviously we have the hammer, but yeah, suffice to say, zero maintenance, zero cost to run really. Uses CO2 bulbs in the pistol grip there. But yeah, a lot of fun. Really love this thing to bit. I keep saying I'm going to paint this thing up to look like a sort of homage to the Destiny 2 revolver, the Ace of Spades, and I will get around to it one day because I think it deserves it. And yeah, really lovely piece. If you don't have one, they're cheap as chips. Go and grab yourself one. They're so much fun. For dark enclosed CQB environments, there's arguably nothing better in my collection than the ASGUSW A1. This is obviously built off of a real-life weapon, service weapon, I believe, for the American police force, primarily was its designed use. Comes with a sort of mounted backplate here. Everything still reciprocates, but we are able to mount optics without the optics actually travelling with the slide. Comes with threaded barrel, so we can run a nice little small tracer unit on it. Uses CO2 mags. You can get extendable green gas mags for this as well. Extended, not extendable. Get the words right, Paul. But has, yeah, a sort of ejecting stock, which is really nice for those sort of harder to take shots, but essentially a big pistol. But yeah, really good for all sorts of circumstances. Next up is the Sig M17, obviously a service weapon of choice for the American military now. I don't think Special Forces have adopted this, but certainly it's the sort of standard sidearm for most of the units. In terms of airsoft, it's, yeah, Sig Air, so I think VFC predominantly, I don't know, but I can't remember now. But yeah, nice magazines. Comes in this fetching shade of sort of desert tan or black. I believe they do these in as well, but this is mine. This has been predominantly hugely reliable. Requires a good bit of grease and service. The slide can get a little bit grabby sometimes. Now, if you need big iron, then of course you need a Tokyo Marui Desert Eagle. This thing is absolutely massive and, to be quite honest, quite unwieldy. But I think it's one of those things that every collection should have. These are famous pistols, or hand cannons, really. And I've been in a host of movies, not least to mention sort of TV series like Reacher and stuff like that. You can get them in this sort of flat black or the sort of chrome effect ones. Either are good. I've found it to be a hugely reliable and, to be honest, quite rangy thing. I mean, I remember testing this back in the day, and to me it was ranging just as good as my Mark 23. But obviously with a hell of a lot more kick. These are the hard kick guns, and they do indeed kick very hard. It's chunky all round. Even the pistol grip itself is quite chunky, which can make controls interesting, but certainly trying to reach around to the mag release with your thumb. I mean, I've got quite big hands. It's still quite leery, but I like it. It's a great piece. Every collection should have one, I think. Yeah, good little gun. Little gun. It's a little tiny gun. The Beretta M9 from Tokyo Marui. How iconic and famous are these things? I think they've been in every movie or action series or anything since the beginning of time. But yeah, this Tokyo Marui version, lightweight polymer slide, obviously, from Tokyo Marui. Incredibly snappy. Not the heaviest kick to it, as you would expect. Bit of a spongy trigger before you hit the wall, but it's yeah, it's nice, and I really enjoy firing this thing purely because of the quick, snappy performance of it. Not something I use all the time. It's in my collection because I think you need to have an M9 in there, really, don't you? Now, what I hope you'll agree is a bit of a collector's piece now these days is the Tokyo Marui M9L, the longer one with the serrations across the top. And I'm reliably informed that Tokyo Marui no longer produce this particular pistol. Thus, it is going or set to become a bit of a collector's piece, bit harder to come across maybe. And it's been in my collection for probably close to a year. Yeah, maybe a little bit more than a year now. I have a lot of fun with it. It's incredibly snappy. This thing is a joy to shoot, and I think it looks fantastic, in all honesty. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, certainly with the longer barrel and the serrations and everything. It's a bit of a Marmite variant, if you like. You're either going to love it or you hate it if you're a true purist of the M9. But I've always loved this sort of look to the grip section and everything else. I think it's a fantastic looking piece and performs really, really well. Very impressed with it, Tokyo Marui. Very impressed. The Glock 17 Gen 3 from Tokyo Marui. I think every collection's got a Glock or two in it these days, isn't it? It's a pretty standard sidearm to have, and I think the 17 Gen 3 is probably about as cheap and reliable as they come, certainly from Tokyo Marui. You could go for an 18 and get full auto and that kind of thing, but I think you run into some reliability issues with those sort of things. I think if you want a stable, reliable, good to shoot platform, you can't go wrong with the 17 Gen 3. As you would expect from Tokyo Marui, it's hugely reliable, a lot of fun. Magazines are great to gas and hold a good amount of gas in them. Very efficient. It's just that pistol you can rely on, that sidearm that you can take to a game day, and you know, even if you haven't serviced it in a good long while and you're wondering, well, is this thing going to even cycle? It just will. It'll push through. It is an absolute Trojan, an absolute workhorse. The KJ Works Tano Cobra, a pistol I picked up very recently because I kind of feel like it's the perfect sidearm for my SRU SAR15, because the particular shade of OD green that this sports, and the fact that it's got silver hammer and barrel and ejection port and all the rest of it with the black, it actually is an exact match for the SAR15 that we've just built, and thus it is the perfect sidearm for that project. I've yet to sort of put this thing to the test properly. It's just sort of sat in a box and looked pretty for now, and occasionally come out for photo opportunities with the Saab. But suffice to say, I'm sure it's absolutely fantastic, and we will get around to testing it properly very shortly here on the channel and taking it out for a game day spin with the old Saab, no doubt.
So there you have it, my complete 2025 collection as it stands. It should be pointed out there are 3 outstanding items on that list that you haven't seen today. 1 rifle and 2 pistols. The 2 pistols are unfortunately in storage and I just couldn't get them in time for this video. That's a Tokyo Marui gold match which everyone has seen in their lifetime. It's nothing special, so you don't really need to see the gold match, do you? The other one is a WE Deadpool pistol. It's based off of a 1911. It's all adorned with sort of Deadpool grips and that kind of thing, and maximum effort stamped down the slide and what have you. So I will endeavour to get some images of that up at some point, I'm sure. And we need to actually do a full review on that pistol on the channel, so it will come out one day. The final remaining item, of course, is the SRU bullpup kit for the KCO2. That's currently being built over on the Airsoft and Chill channel, so I encourage you to head over to our second channel there, have a look at that, and watch that build unfold live before your eyes. That's a Saruna kit, incidentally, if you're wondering. Other than that, though, you have seen everything today. Obviously, it's all still behind me here, taking up a hell of a lot of room, so I'm going to have to pack everything away soon. But thank you again for joining me on this journey. And if you've enjoyed the content today, then a like and subscribe is always welcome. And I'll see you guys in the next one.